7 of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2023. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, the third leg of our VCR tripod himself, Mac Daddy Mickey Torres is back on the show.
What's up, everyone?
And he's one half the creative genius behind Retro Fiend Radio, makers of the finest canon and martial arts docs on the internet. Dustin Niño's back on the show.
The Niño!
What up? El Niño!
Mickey, I've never wanted to beat you up before, but how you said that intro, it's like I wanted to beat you up. I don't encourage this. I really don't. But I really wanted to you Eddie Haskell son of a I just can't. All right.
My new signature.
He has been drinking scotch and hate tonight, so
yeah. I have not, sir.
I'm just teasing. He's on a healthy diet of gas station pizza, but we are here today to celebrate the mid-90s Travolta renaissance and the craziness of Nick Cage in one flawless film. That's right, folks. This world needs Face Off 2, Sudden Death, and we're here to give it
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it absolutely does.
At all.
Absolutely
Not
does.
One ounce does this world need this.
But before you can scream, I'm Castor Troy, we need to talk about how Face Off came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching in the live chat as well. Was it Love at First Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the live chat and let us know how Face Off came into your lives. So, Dustin, do you remember the first time you watched this masterpiece of a film?
Yeah, I had to have rented it from the video store. I don't remember seeing it in the theater.
This was a blockbuster video jam, wasn't it? I feel like this was the movie. This was made to have a whole wall at Blockbuster. This movie.
Yeah. No, I remember being very aware. Yeah, being very aware of this, who John Woo was, all that, So I was looking forward to it, and it didn't disappoint. I mean, the first time I saw it either, too. It was pretty much everything that you wanted out of a John Woo movie. There's always some weird, Hollywood can't quite nail the Hong Kong chow yun fat '90s hard boiled years mixed with the American version of that. They can never quite meet where they need to be, in the middle or wherever they need to meet. Never quite worked out that well for John Woo, but this was definitely a fun one. I mean, I know why Ian hates it, but I know why you hate it.
Why?
Because it's so bombastic. It's too bombastic for you to live, Ian.
It's too.
You'd rather
fast.
kill yourself than have to watch it again.
Yeah.
It's too fast.
Yeah, when you're watching The English Patient on replay 24/7 like Ian does, you can't appreciate the finer things in life like Face
Whatever.
Off.
No, look, I am 100% the Killer all the way. Bring on the Killer. I will watch that.
Replacement Killers is awesome. I like Replacement Killers.
I'm just saying, but there's something about Face Off and MI2 and all. Yeah, I don't know.
I like MI2 too.
But see, I think what it is, honestly, I think this is too fast for me, but I think honestly and truthfully, the reason that audiences, American audiences, can't do Hard Boiled or The Killer, those are way too fast movies. American audiences need it a little slowed down. Just if you're on EP mode, you need you need a little SP mode. For American audiences. So
and I don't think they found it right the way. Right. Yeah. And I think for whatever reason it works, but then for some reason it doesn't quite work because a lot of people don't like the movie. You know what I mean? And don't like John Woo's movie.
Have you watched
There's a lot of people that don't like John Woo's American movie, like Hard Target. You can go down the list.
Ian fucking masturbates to Hard Target.
You love Hard Target, right?
I know it.
Is it just because it has Jean-Claude?
No, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I also have a sentimental like that was my dad took me to go see that movie in the theater, You know, instead of going to see Man Without a Face, like my dad took me to go see Hard Target. So
hey, whoa,
like,
knocking the Man Without a Face, like what?
Yes.
You know what is going on here? We're lumping the Face Off in with MI2, and we're knocking Man Without a Face for no reason.
well,
The movie
I
that
mean,
just
I like I'm sorry.
You
I like
like Funny for the
MIT.
English
any movie with Jeffrey Lewis is a fucking worthwhile of recognition in the
Joe
National
Bob
Film
Briggs.
Archives.
Joe Bob Briggs.
Fucking A,
Dude.
right? Thank you.
Look,
come on.
okay. First off, shut up, Chris. Don't you ever come after me for Jeffrey Lewis ever again. I was there for Any Which Way You Can.
I was there for Any Which Way But Loose.
You should be, but
My
I
man.
was there.
My
right?
man.
I was all right. I was there with Maverick for Jeffrey Lewis. All right, don't give me this.
Don't
give
fucking
me
talk
this.
to me. I was there in '91 in Double Impact when Chad and Alex, twin brothers,
I will come
had to be
over there.
separated because of the Zangs. Like,
I will come
I'll
over
fucking
there and I
teach
will-
a course
I will-
on Jeffrey Lewis.
I will crap on your front door mattress. All right, don't or Matt, whatever. The point is, don't.
I
ever
will
talk
make
to
a
me about Jeffrey
mashup.
Lewis.
I will make a fucking Jeffrey Lewis can't lose mashup. So you just wait. It'll be
Yeah,
Jeffrey Lewis in the
please do.
news. It'll
That
be,
shirt
oh my
I will
God.
wear.
Jeffrey
That
Lewis in the
shirt I
news.
will
That
wear.
needs to happen, actually.
right.
Jeffrey Lewis.
That's
in the
it.
news.
That's
That's
it.
That's it.
Jeffrey Lewis.
Show's
in the
over,
news.
folks. We've
Oh.
solved our differences. We've put things aside, and
What if
now
we
we can
just-
secure peace into the next millennium.
Yeah. How about we just mash up? We'll make it Man Without a Face Off. How about that?
Oh my
I did.
God.
One of my first ones was actually
Take
Encino
my
Man Without a
money
Face.
right now, Dustin.
Encino.
You know, Man Without a Face.
But yeah, Man Without a Face Off is actually pretty tight.
Eyes wide,
Yeah,
face
it'd
off.
be Mel Gibson. And,
You're venturing
Who
into
would-
Darkman
who would
territory
wear-
there a little bit.
right?
but
Because
I
what
think
if
that's
someone
cool.
shows up with half of Mel Gibson's face? You know, thrown onto theirs.
That's
Like,
that's
what happened
the
to his other
deep.
side of his face.
That's the deep mashup right there. Have Darkman on the cover of Man Without a Face. Oh, that's funny.
You know what though? Like, it's like the way that Mel Gibson like wound up. You know, it's like you almost need to like turn half his face into fucking Nick Nolte's mugshot or Gary. You know, some crazy shit. But,
He'll
any
bounce
rate.
back with Lethal Weapon 5. We all know it. Relax. All right.
I hope. I don't know. I hope they're doing it. So I hope it's great. You know, what can you do? It's Lethal Weapon. But anyway, let's get back to what the fuck are we talking about? Face Off, Mickey.
You don't even know what this movie is. Not gonna.
No, I was joking. I just had to do that. Mickey, tell us about the first time you watched Face Off. Is this a Mac Daddy double date, or is this what do we do? Rental, Palmer
No.
Video, HBO?
Literally, it was about 5 minutes before we came on that I finished watching this movie for the first time.
What?
Oh my God!
But I'm
You
glad I
lied.
did. I remember what I lie and say, well, I remember watching like maybe a part of it back in the day on HBO or something. And for some reason, I just didn't give this, maybe it was like John Travolta overload at that time.
Oh yes,
So
dude! It was the fucking ultimate renaissance, the ultimate like
Yeah.
comeback tour. It was
Mhm.
like the fucking
Right.
Elvis comeback tour. Like,
It was,
Exactly.
dude,
Every
like the
movie.
yeah, the moms were on board, the dads were on board,
Yeah,
and like
so
the
I
kids
think-
the kids had no choice.
I think
know.
that's, I
Yeah.
saw Travolta and I'm sitting there going like, oh, and I really can't watch another Travolta movie right now. So I kind of like stepped out of that.
You're
But
un-American, sir.
that being said,
No, that's the expert.
You call yourself an East Coaster?
I love Travolta. Don't get me wrong. I love Travolta. Grease aside, but any event.
Mickey is the boy in the bubble suit.
I
Wait a
like
minute,
that
you
movie
mean,
too.
Wait, you mean to say Grease aside, you don't like Grease?
I fucking hate Grease, but we're not gonna go there. But anyways,
You communist.
it's
You just-
it's got awful. It's got awful. But in any event, this
Who
movie,
am I
hasn't-
on the
it
show
hasn't-
with? How did this
it
this
happen?
hasn't-
movie is not god
It
awful.
hasn't aged well here,
All right,
Chris. Let's be honest.
You're redeemed because you love Face Off, and it's one of the greatest movies of all time. So
This movie
continue.
is like
You're welcome. You're at the young age of 24. You watch.
Yeah. I just don't understand how anybody can hate on this movie. This movie is like gives you everything you want. It gives you action. It gives you. The story it's ludicrous, but at the same time, it's a fucking great story.
It's a wonderful escapism.
It's literally like it's like, oh my God, you
Mhm.
know, this shit could really happen in the 90s because there were always FBI and CIA were always trying like dumb shit and like just shit that would just like never would like fly. And it's like, oh, well, we just like take his face off and switch faces and stuff like that. It was creative. And I'm sitting there going like, how come nobody ever thought of this before? I mean, like, I'm sorry. I dare anybody to come up with a better concept for a great action movie.
Thank you, sir.
I agree.
than this.
Yeah,
Poetry.
I would
Just said
also say
poetry.
too that a lot of people didn't give it enough credit too at the time for Travolta and Cage reversing their sort of acting roles. Like they were playing each other.
Cage did the heavy
inside of it.
lifting. Cage did the
Right,
heavy
right,
lifting
right,
on this
right,
movie.
right.
Like he
Oh, for sure.
Right,
was
for sure.
I mean,
sure the star.
Yeah.
There's a the difference between Travolta and Cage in this movie is that Travolta is riding like the ultimate movie star wave, right? And Travolta, like, you know, you can Cage, you can knock him, but man, that dude is a fucking actor. Like he is, I mean, he's out of his fucking mind. He doesn't live on planet Earth, I don't think, with the rest of us. But I think that's like, I absolutely love that about him, and he's that in the best way possible.
Right, and I think also people forget to add to that at the time, you know, Con Air, this movie, it was coming out of movies that were like Leaving Las Vegas, other types of movies that were way more fucking serious in tone, you know, much more an actor's movie.
Like Cage is coming off like Oscars and shit.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then he starts doing these movies, and it's like, you know, still they're still wondering, well, is this gonna work? Are people gonna buy it? And yeah, like people, you know, the age group definitely.
I think he deliberately did that though. I mean, you know, you're an Oscar.
Yeah, it was a gamble.
You're an Oscar land, and there you go. How you can continue in that trajectory, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna, you know, win another Oscar. You're gonna, you know, you're gonna keep doing these critical movies, but at the same time, it's like at some point these movies are not gonna be fun for you to do. So it's like,
Cage,
you literally
Cage,
you win the
really
championship. You win the championship. Now you're playing with house money. Fuck it. I'm gonna do whatever. I am not gonna tarnish my image. I'm still gonna be a star. I'm still gonna be a celebrity. People are still gonna pay me big money to be in their movie.
I mean, he was gonna be Superman like right after this, you know.
Yeah.
And they shut the movie down, but it wasn't because of him. You know, it was because the budget was fucking huge, and they lost money on like a million other, like The Postman and like Wild Wild West, and like all these other fucking big budget movies that tanked. And Warner's was up against the fucking like, you know, bankruptcy and shit.
I don't see him being a good Superman though.
Nick Cage is a fucking thespian. He would have been the best Superman that we've had yet. And I love Henry Cavill and shit. I'm telling you, they would have fucking they would have gotten a really good wig on him first of all, and he would have crushed it.
The costume,
he would have been better than Christopher Reeve for two reasons. Number one,
I saw wasn't that great, but
but you know, the shit that you see
but
mostly is like
done.
test suits. It's not like, you know, it's like for this one scene, this weird suit they were trying to maybe do. They don't know, you know, but I've seen him in like the finished suits and they look awesome. And not only that, but they would have gotten the fucking wig right, like the hair, that whole thing. He has that he has the Boy Scout thing down. And my proof that he would be a great Superman is the movie It Could Happen to You. And shut up, Ian, I can feel it already. I love this movie.
I like that movie
all the time.
I love that movie.
It Could Happen to You. Watch that movie. He's a cop who gives the waitress a $2 million tip. That's fucking Clark Kent. Like, that's a Boy Scout, and you believe it there. So you believe the rest, because the rest is just movie bullshit. He's a good enough actor to like.
He was great in City of Angels as well.
You know,
God. 90s Tim Burton Superman movie would have been the shit.
It would have been so fucking weird, and it like for good or bad. Like I wish we could see it because it would just be a fun, weird way to eat pizza and laugh with your friends.
But this, this movie, like to be honest,
machine.
This movie to me is like the inspiration for Michael Bay's whole movie career. Like he's trying to make this movie. To me, it's like he's trying to do John Woo. Like it's
Yeah, I would
pretty.
say every
fair.
action director.
It's pretty
throws in a
evident.
tip of
But
the
he's
hat,
like he's
as you know.
so doing it like the white guy. It's like doing white jazz. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like he
I think,
sucks
you
and
know,
he can't do
to
it
go,
at all.
To
like,
go back to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back to what
doing like the
Dustin,
tasteless version of it.
to go back to what Dustin was saying and Ian as far as speed, as far as the mix
Yeah.
of like the you know the culture, you know, and everything else like that, the right mix or anything like that. I think Michael Bay pretty much put his like he pretty much figured it out a little bit. Like
Going
he's
to
like,
a Michael Bay movie is like going to an Indian restaurant that's run by Fisher Stevens from Short Circuit.
yeah,
Like actually him just doing that. Like that's
yeah, pretty
you
much,
know,
pretty much.
you know,
Or,
like I
you
love,
know,
yeah. All about
well, it is what
going
it is.
authentic,
But
you
this
know.
movie, I mean, I love this movie. I just finished watching it. I want to watch it again. I'm like, I just want. I'm like, I want to watch it again. It's so good. I don't understand.
Yeah.
There's no.
I just want to
flaw.
give you a hug. I love
It's
everything you're saying
also
right now.
yeah, it's also one of those rare action movies that's long that has drawn out subplots, but they all are fun too. Like the prison, it becomes a whole escape from prison movie.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
dude.
for like 30, 40 minutes, and then it becomes, you know,
You
there's
literally-
the other subplot with the whole gangs and shit where he infiltrates them and shit. at the end.
once you
Like-
get the final once you get the reveal that like Castor Troy is alive and he's there with his fucking face and everything like that, and then you know like it's like, oh my god, this guy, he's a fucking genius. He's gonna get this guy, he's gonna get Travolta's face,
Of course.
and here we go. And now you're
Just
sitting
love
there
how you
going,
haven't seen it.
now you're sitting there going like, how the fuck is Travolta gonna get out of this predicament? And like, it's like literally like, I was captivated. I
love this
was
right now. You
captivated.
sound like this is like Mickey just started to play with Sega Genesis tonight. Like he just got the greatest thing ever, and he didn't know about it. He's like, "Oh my god,
This
they
was
have
the Christmas gift.
hedgehog named Sonic." The
This
thing's
was the
so
Christmas
fast."
gift. The
got
Christmas
blast
gift under the tree
processing.
that I was waiting for all year. Like I asked Santa, I'm a good boy. I've been a good boy all year. Please, just
You got
please
Face Off,
give me
son.
the gift of Face Off. Just please put it under my tree and make it downloadable for me to watch. And
And your mom
I'll
was
be
like,
happy.
and your mom was like, "We've got Face Off at home, and it's like a
Yeah.
recorded from TV version of Darkman."
Yeah, I'm gonna go out.
Ah.
I'm gonna go out this weekend and buy Face Off on Blu-ray.
Oof,
Oh my!
poetry, my man.
This is
Wow.
hardcore fandom right here.
I just want to give you a big hug right now.
I just can't
miss
get.
ya.
I just can't get enough love.
I want to
My
party.
favorite
Let's
thing-
go-
my
let's
favorite
go to a
thing about
Cavity
that-
concert.
It's in 1997. Somebody actually did get Face Off VHS as a Christmas gift, and they lost their mind. I do love that.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I'd rather get that than a fucking Nintendo 64.
I
That's for
don't
damn
know.
sure.
Like, you know, honestly, like
Oh,
honestly,
Still,
like,
you
I-
first of all, you'd still be using your Face Off home video to this day, not your Nintendo 64.
I
You'd
never
be
got
emulating that
got
shit.
VHSs for
did
a
you
Christmas
have
present.
GoldenEye, Chris?
No, the year everyone got a 64, I asked for a shoulder VHS camera, and I still don't regret it to this day. It was the best
Look at that.
Oh,
choice.
Look at
ever.
That's
I didn't want-
impressive.
Beat
That's
that.
impressive.
Beat
I had
that
a
English
fucking, I had an
patient.
RCA camera that shot direct to VHS. That might as well have been a 35 millimeter
Yeah.
film camera to fucking 12-year-old.
Bro.
You're
But-
over here,
Hell yeah.
Ian, playing with your joystick, and Chris is making
Yeah.
movies like Face Off, the
Yeah.
next Face Off.
He's editing in camera, dude. It's like pause. All right, next scene.
You know, I was making horror
move-
classics
move your
like The
arm like that,
Landscaper. You would shit your pants if The Landscaper was coming for you.
Fuck, yeah.
But
The landscaper, bro. Dude,
look,
I
yeah,
wanna
no,
see
I'm
that.
serious. That was like some terrible movie I made when I was a kid. It's hilarious. It's so bad.
Bro, that's
Um,
Shut up,
rad.
Mickey. Shut up, Mickey. In '97, we were all playing with our joysticks. Anyway,
not
All right,
97.
so-
I was an adult by 97.
So in
I was good.
97, let me just
so
guess.
you were playing more with your joystick. Got it. Okay, all right.
Other people were.
I'm
But
gonna- I'm gonna guess that how Face Off came into Ian's life here. In '97, he was probably in wine country with other academics and real PhD type of crowd, and they were discussing their favorite James Joyce when someone put on Face Off, and they all just acted like it was a fart, like someone just farted in church for the next 90 minutes.
Asking
And,
if anybody saw Meatballs I.
They all swirled their wine
Summer
glasses and were
down.
like, "Oh, how gross!"
Damn. Dude, they're coming for you, Ian.
How far
Nah.
off am I, Ian?
Nah, this was. I mean, well, when Paul Giamatti and I were going down to country drinking wine.
We were watching
No,
Battleship
this-
Potemkin and turned it off for a second.
No, I came out. I mean, like this was an HBOer. I mean, I remember watching it, and I'll be honest. What I remember the most, besides, this is before I really kind of knew who Nick Cage was. Like because of Pulp Fiction, I knew John Travolta, but Nick Cage, as weird as it sounds, was not really on my radar of actors.
You didn't watch
So it's
Raising
kinda
Arizona before?
You tasteless, tasteless
I
man.
did. Well, I did, but I didn't. I didn't.
Or
connect,
Valley Girl?
No, I didn't. To this day, I'll be
Peggy
honest, I have not
fucking
seen
Sue got married.
Ooh.
Didn't see it. Did not
Jesus.
see it. I mean, the closest I knew him of was Moonstruck, and I know that sounds bougie. I don't mean to sound but I knew him from Moonstruck, because my mom, my sister had Moonstruck.
It pretty much typifies you, Ian. That
I know,
Moonstruck
right?
was.
But
See, I would have thought maybe Honeymoon in Vegas, Guarding Tess.
No.
some of those.
Oh, Honeymoon in Vegas, another great movie.
no,
Wild at Hearts.
Guarding
Wild at
Tess
Hearts.
is good.
Oh, Wild
Guarding
at Heart,
Tess
yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
I was not into David Lynch yet. That took me a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
no, it was an HBOer, and I honestly I remember the kind of going like, who's this one guy? But I also remember why the Doves. I did not understand the Doves. All right, and if you know John Woo, this man is obsessed with doves. And even in
No.
Hard Target.
That's not
Doves
something
are
I was
out of no-
thinking about. When I was watching this
I
movie,
was-
I didn't
I
say
was-
like
The doves stood out.
is
The
with
doves
all the
definitely stood out to
doves.
me. But I just thought, like, man, what a touch! It looks so cool. Like, 12-year-old me is just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm on board.
I thought
will
it was an
counter-
ode to
Yeah.
the birds. I thought it was
Well,
an
no,
ode
he
to the
puts it in
birds.
every movie.
And Mickey, I
Because
will
it-
counter you.
Hmm.
So I was just gonna say, I'll counter you. A better plot is Crank. I'll
Oh,
counter
I
you
love
with
Crank, but come
Crank
on,
is
face.
a better plot.
Crank
Crank
is really
a better ploy.
Crank is really speed on a human being. But like,
And I'll tell you right now, coming up soon, Cocaine Bear is going to kill any movie moving forward. Like, you're not going to be
Maybe.
able to beat Cocaine Bear.
maybe
I'm hoping
Maybe.
that better be more money.
don't
than
build up the hype.
Avatar ever
Do not
makes.
build up the hype. Do not build up the
No,
hype.
that better be a
Yeah.
multi-billion-dollar movie. Cocaine Bear.
I don't know. I
Um,
heard Cocaine Bear 2 is going to be the film to see. I heard it's gonna have Teddy Ruxpin and Winnie the Pooh on cocaine, and I hear it's going to be really something else. Yogi
Hey,
Bear is
oh,
Yogi
man.
Bear is gonna be fucking blowing rails. It's gonna be nuts, man.
That's what's gonna be in his
Yeah.
picking it basket.
Yeah, the multiverse of bareness. It's gonna be great.
But I will say,
So-
I mean, I don't hate Face Off. I don't hate it. Let me.
Well,
let
you
me
came
take
on
a
here
stance.
like literally
Well-
like there's nothing redeeming about Face Off, and now all
Here's
of a
the
sudden
prob-
I don't hate Face Off.
Here's what it is. It's a good action movie, but I'm in that camp of going, why do they have the same vocal cords?
They
All
explain it.
right. What? No. What happened was somebody pointed that out, and that was a studio fix. Because if you notice, they say it off camera with the voice.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
sound like
they-
me. I could eat a peach for hours. I mean, it could.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it is a rewrite. I don't know if it's a reshoot though.
It was a reshoot. It was a rewrite in post. It was because one of the studio people are like, well, why don't they switch their voices? Like, so
you think
that
they
guy-
went with like the Soul Man thing? Like, we're not gonna explain this part of it. Like,
Well, they did. I mean, they just don't. And I always was like, well, why don't they have the same voice? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, you know.
I mean, I don't know. I
But-
bought that because they explained it. I don't know. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
I will.
don't-
I
you
will
gotta
say
like
this.
answer the questions that the audience are gonna ask. You know,
As
and it
I've
makes sense.
gotten-
He wakes up, he still sounds like him. You know.
As I've gotten
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
older,
when he first wakes up, yeah.
Yeah.
and I was recently when I watched it, I will say this: I love Nicolas Cage's performance. I will. There are certain
Perfection.
I will tell you, there are certain performances in this world, in cinema, where either you're on camp, it's the worst acting ever, or you're in team, like that is pure genius. And a couple of examples, like Nick Cage in this movie is one of those. I will tell you, Marlon Brando in The Island of Dr. Moreau, I'm on team that's genius. Whatever that man is doing in that movie, you can think it's weird, but I think that
I do think it's fucking weird as fuck.
I don't know if I would point to that
genius.
being one of
Brandon
Brando's
Dr.
best
Moreau,
performances.
That is odd. That is
anything in that movie that's genius.
That is Oscar worthy.
I mean,
anything
like,
David Lynch touches. Like,
I think Brando. I think
Oscar-worthy.
like Streetcar. I think Godfather. I mean, those are the ones I go to. Superman.
Even
see
Ian
that?
left.
See that? His
Quit.
opinion was not valid.
Unvalidated. I hope he'll return, but he may just be fed up with us, our VCR ways.
So, Chris,
what
was your first time? What was your first time? Chris?
Well, I'll get to mine in a sec. I do want to touch on the live chat now that Ian's going to give me a sec to give us some headroom. So I see in the chat, Martin Murray, love Face Off, Gold's Code. I would pay good money to see Ian and Chris face off. Imagine loving Airborne and imagine Ian loving Airborne and Chris loving gas station pizza. Take my money. Always good to see Sean Gold in the live chat. Dustin deserves his own show, and Mickey deserves more court-mandated community service hours. Telekinetic 01, your name in the chat, says, I remember seeing this in theaters. Gold Code says, Dustin knows what's up. Inspector Tequila in the house.
Shit.
Let's see.
Right,
Telekinetic 01, I feel like late 90s films suffered a little bit as the action hero films sort of fell out to make room for superhero films. I think that is part of what happened. That's interesting.
Well, the action went straight to video basically for a while.
Yeah.
There.
Well, because it's, if you just pay like these up and coming martial artists, your movies don't have to be that expensive to make.
Yeah.
You can make them as cheap as a horror movie almost. And,
that and Steven Seagal went straight for justice, or what's the line you like, Chris?
Straight for justice.
straight out of justice.
Straight out of justice.
I always say, again, you can mix and match the titles, of all the Seagal movies, and you can make Hard for Justice or fucking, Out for Kill or fucking,
I only get hard, for justice.
Above Siege,
But it was true. I mean, action after a certain period. We talked about earlier in the show. I love Con Air. I thought Con Air is like a cool concept of a movie, and there should have been more Con Airs. But I do believe we could have been in a world where there was Con Air 3, like straight to video in like 2003, with Dolph Lundgren. We could have had that world. That's not far off.
I would have been okay if Face Off fell into that territory. They're just like,
that's
now
what
these
I'm
guys
saying,
are switching faces. Now these guys are switching faces.
Yeah.
Because I think Con Air said what Con Air needed to. I don't think we need to go back, but like Face Off, I take my money again and again and again. We should be having Face Off fucking 19 by now, and I'd be here for it. I'd be here.
Face Off is the now of movies.
It's just the now. That's what I call a movie.
Well,
or even if it was direct to video, if it was like Face Off starring fucking Martin Cove, I'd be like,
WWE missed the boat.
Yeah.
All the Marines movies they did, they should have been doing Face Off movies.
Oh, they should.
Well, let's thank God that WWE didn't get their horrible filmmaking hands on this beautiful franchise, because even No Holds Barred, which should be perfect, somehow they just didn't. I don't know.
That wasn't
No Holds Barred. I love that movie.
But See No Evil. See No Evil was good.
Yeah, the Hulk Hogan in Zeus. Kurt Fuller. Rips the worms are too good for you. I don't know. But at any rate, back to the chat. I see Martin Murray says John Travolta deserves credit because it can't be easy to portray the Cage Man and his wild antics, which I actually think is a very good point.
Oh, I give him mad props too.
And he's not like quite at that I'm phoning it all in phase yet that he gets to like 2 or 3 movies down the road from here. But
with like Broken Arrow, which I mistakenly thought Broken Arrow was before this.
It was 95. This was 97.
I still feel like that movie was just like, what's going on here? Because when you said Face Off, I'm sitting there thinking, like I said, Broken Arrow, the Christian Slater.
Yeah. that was one that like I watched like in a hotel somewhere. Like I
know
like
why,
how
though?
stuck I had to be to watch Broken Arrow.
You know why? In the
love
90s,
Broken
somehow
Arrow when it
like
came out.
How do you hate Broken Arrow, but you love Face Off? Like they're the same freaking movie, dude.
They're not the same movie at all.
they're not the
One
same
movie's-
movie, but
They're
like,
the same
but-
movie.
One
but
movie's
that-
perfect and the other one's completely forgettable.
The thing is
no,
like,
one movie's perfect. The other one is called Face Off.
That's
Broken
insane.
Arrow's a perfect movie.
He's a masochist. He doesn't like good movies or good things or
You got me
know,
on that one. I do like
I
a
don't
bad
know.
movie.
I'm sure in John Travolta's like life, you know, when somebody comes up to him and says like, man, I'm a big Face Off fan, this and that, he's okay with that. But if somebody comes up like, Broken Arrow, that's like gold. I love Broken Arrow. He'd probably say like, I don't even remember making that one.
Let me tell you, let me tell you when he gets excited, when somebody's like, yo, look who's talking now with the dogs. That was a movie right there.
There's actually someone talking about Look Who's Talking in the fucking live chat right now. Who's it? Martin Marori. Mickey's favorite trilogy is the Look Who's Talking series. But
I don't know about that.
speaking of the live chat, I see Alex Bonafante joined as well. Scotty B as well. I missed their lines. The chat's going a little bit great. Some love for Nick Cage in Fast Times. A lot of love for It Could Happen to You as well.
It really is a good movie.
Reference to the fact that he does come from some Hollywood royalty, being that he's Nicholas Coppola.
He's a
Coppola. He's a Coppola. So that sure doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt, but that doesn't automatically give you the hall pass.
No, it doesn't automatically give you that. I mean, there's a lot of love, and now it's just like Valley Girl, Honeymoon in Vegas. There's a lot of that stuff. I see a new name in there, B.A. Wintermage, staple of John Woo movies. In the 80s was the relationship between the protagonist and antagonist, where they were different sides of the same coin. I just love this ridiculous movie. Well put, BA.
Yeah,
well put.
Exactly. The fact you said ridiculous
all day long.
Job.
All day long.
And just a lot of general love for Nick Cage, and I'm trying to just make sure I don't leave anyone behind before we.
You know what the problem is? I love when Nick Cage plays.
Kanye.
I love when Nick Cage plays serious. And I know I'm an outlier of this world. Like, don't get me wrong. I love a crazy Nick Cage. Like, I am stoked to see him as Dracula.
Okay, favorite serious Nick Cage role.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'll be honest. I love Guardian Tess.
Okay.
Why did that silence all of you? Like,
I don't know. I just no one fucking expected you to pull out Guarding Test.
Guarding Test.
We're all ready to like shit on your pick, and then you said Guarding Test, and it's like, I can't really shit on that. But I can't really.
I don't think
crazy
sure
it. It's like it's okay.
I've never even watched it because I never even had. I never even wanted to watch that movie.
It's Driving Miss Daisy too, but okay.
Well, but I love
the good parts.
I love race. But him in Raising Arizona, that's a crazy performance. That's genius. I mean, his performance in Leaving Las Vegas.
That's a serious one.
That's
a serious one, and that's a great, Nick Cage serious movie if you want to say that.
But I love it. Like, I loved Color of Space. I bought the DVD. I thought it was a great performance. Like, sometimes, like, it's like I feel bad for him with the whole like bees memes and stuff like that, and I feel bad to a point, and then I realize like he chooses certain roles that are pretty out there.
I feel bad. He got fucking paid for that shit. Like, but Nick Cage is he doesn't need you feeling bad for him. Highfalutin.
Put it this way:
who are you to feel bad for Nick Cage?
Nick Cage bought like comic books, rare comic books, and used them to line his bathroom.
I know
that's money. That's money.
Yeah. Nick Cage buys like fucking dinosaur heads to fucking wipe his ass with, and shit.
He lost that money for a while. But what's interesting? It's like you look at Face Off, and I know we love these '90s action movies, but then it's like, I look on streaming now, and you look at all these like $1 million buyout movies that these actors are doing. Like, Travolta has like 6 movies that he just did last year alone. Or have you guys ever done, like, looked at some of the newer stuff that
Yeah, I mean, eventually everyone does fall into this range, you know. So you should take the Eric Roberts approach and just like, you know, dive in head first and don't be afraid of it. That way, like, there'll still always be A-list roles when the time is right coming for you because they'll just know all like, can do everything, you know.
It's true.
Being on a streaming service is not the same as when, you know, in the 90s, 2000s, stuff like that, when you had direct to DVDs. It's not the same as far as there's more like, you know, like, oh, I'm on Amazon Prime. It's more caveat. It's still like I'm an actor still, but like when you
I don't know. In my opinion, it was a lot fucking cooler when it was like, I'm in a Roger Corman movie.
It's a lot
debuted
cooler
on Showtime at 3 a.m.
It's a lot cooler. It's a lot cooler from the cult classic standpoint, or from like, you know, fanboy standpoint. But if you're talking about an actor that's been in like big Hollywood movies, the streaming movies are really a step down. But they're not.
I mean, there's ranks. It's like I'm on Netflix. I'm on Hulu Prime, Disney.
Hulu's now getting
then Tubi and Freevee.
I'm on Tubi
Roku,
now, mofo.
You know, this is like so much. It's weird, you know. But so I'll do, you know, my first time on watching Face Off, and then we'll get on with the pitches because there already are some good pitches in the live chat, of course. But I was probably about 12 years old. You know, wanted to see it in theaters, but I really didn't have anyone to like go with or take, you know, like I don't think my dad wanted to see it or anything. So like I had to wait for video. Walked into that Blockbuster, you know, it was probably a whole fucking wall of tapes of just Face Off. Proudly got it on day one and I instantly loved it. I was like, this is great. This is perfect. This is everything a movie should be. No matter what kind of movie you're in the mood to watch, like Face Off will scratch the itch. Like I really feel that. Like you want to watch a comedy, Face Off. You want to watch an action movie, Face Off. You want to watch like a fucking cult movie, Face Off. You want to watch like a B movie, Face Off. You want to like seriously, it like ticks off a lot of boxes. It manages to be kind of everything to everyone in a way. And it's funny, I usually hate films that do that, but Face Off does that with such fucking flying colors. It even gives you Gina Gershon. It gives you Joan Allen, like two of the fucking best of the best right there. I mean, God, I just can't say enough about this movie, but I'll give some trivia on this movie, a little background before we get into the pitches. A lot of people don't know this movie was written for Schwarzenegger and Stallone. And that was the original plan, was to get those guys finally together in a movie. And this is the ultimate script to do it. It's going to be great. Blah, 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 blah. I think other than the obvious that they were, you know, still too big ego-wise to like work together and someone who's going to be the villain, who's going to be the hero, you know, that whole shtick. I think it's just they're a little bit too far apart physically in terms of like one guy's like a foot taller and the other guy's, you know. Yeah, the height and like it just would have been a little harder to buy because we know these guys so fucking well. Like Nick Cage was a little bit more of a chameleon,
obscure, a little bit.
Yeah, we knew Travolta well, but like, you know, Nick Cage
really this was Travolta's, you know, baby as far as that. It was like he was the star, at least, you know.
I guess
on paper
he was the star that pushed it over the top.
So was John Woo still set to direct if it was Stallone Schwarzenegger?
I don't know when the particulars of when he became involved, or you know, I don't know how far the talks got, but I know that's what it was written with the intention of. Like a movies just, you know, have this way of they're written with one thing in mind and it ends up being something completely different. Like Demolition Man was written for Seagal and Van Damme, which another like I think could have been an interesting face-off thing because it was, especially if you did it now. And shit, this is kind of getting into pitches a little bit, but like if you did it with them now, it would be hilarious because like they hate each other so much. They could just spend half the movie making fun of the other actor, you know, trying to imitate them and like their style.
And the funny thing about like, you know, in Face Off,
like, that shit. Like,
when the doctor says like we're gonna have to, you know, take care of your you know, love handles or whatever like that. You know, the amount of surgery they're gonna have to do on Seagal to get rid of that.
Yeah, we're gonna do an intense liposuction. We're gonna add joints in your fucking another set of joints so you can do the splits. We're gonna fucking give you better spray on hair.
Shout out! I will have to say the shout out. This is a deep dive, but shout out to Nick Cassavetes, who's the doctor, because that man went on to direct the freaking Notebook, right?
That's a great movie,
and also is the warden sheriff in Life with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Best role ever.
Yeah.
Life with Eddie Murphy. Okay.
That's right.
Well, that happened.
That's
so
a great
I guess
movie. That's a great movie too.
What?
Life is a good movie.
Life is
Yeah,
a
that's
good
what I'm
movie?
saying, Chris. Yes, it's a great movie. Anything with Eddie Murphy is a great movie.
The
I
Upper
was-
Room.
I think Bowfinger begs to differ, my friend.
Oh my
Um,
God, you're saying Bo
Pluto
oh,
Nash,
God,
come
Bo.
on.
I
Yeah,
like Bo.
Showtime.
I like Bowfinger.
Show fucking time. Come on.
Showtime's horrible.
Ah.
Bowfinger's horrible.
Look, you're talking to a pure man who loves Norbit, so I don't want to hear from any of y'all.
That's
So,
horrible,
Everything
too.
Eddie Murphy did pre Nutty Professor or pre Metro or pre Holy Man, somewhere in there. You know, pre Beverly Hills Cop
Holy
3.
Man.
I
Holy
guess.
Man was good. Holy Man was good.
Everything, yeah, up until Beverly Hills Cop 3, maybe. I don't know about Holy Man being good, but
I
I'd
mean,
have
it
to
was
rewatch.
good. It
I'd
was-
have
I
to
mean,
rewatch.
It was good. It was. It was.
So
like
it
great,
is.
but-
It is pitch time. So I see some in the chat. Also there was some while we were on the Brando subject. There was some love for him in Apocalypse Now. Which trivia? He got paid like $1 million for like 3 days work and was supposed to show up in shape
yes.
with short hair or with long hair, and he showed up fat, bald, and didn't know the fucking script and didn't know his lines he was supposed to. You know,
Genius.
disaster. So he's just reading them, but he made it work because that's the Brando genius, not
But that's
Island
the
of
same. The
fucking
Godfather.
Island of fucking
postcards and
Dr.
stuff.
Moreau. Sorry.
Please,
I would have preferred.
There's
I would have
there's
preferred
a
the
universe
Island
where
of,
that man that got an Oscar. I'm telling
I'm
you.
just saying, I would have preferred the Island of Dr. Mario. Now there's a fucking mashup.
Yeah.
So
Freaking,
pitch.
freaking turtles mixed with bullets and stuff.
Oh my god, it'd be amazing. So first pitch I see in the live chat comes as no surprise from Sean Gold himself of Gold's Code. It says pitch. Mitchell and the Preps get faced off. Now Mitchell must navigate the world of the Preps. The stakes are raised in Faceborn. It brings back both franchises. My god.
So
Slow
good.
fucking clap. That is
Goldie.
so
So
good.
good.
That deserves the slow clap.
So
Wow.
good. So good.
Goldie.
Stone Gold.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
we're done.
sir.
That's right. Goldie strikes back.
Chef's kiss.
Holy shit. And that's,
Chef's
of course,
kiss.
referencing the other greatest movie of all time in the 90s, Airborne, with Shane McDermott and Seth Green. And for you Airborne fans out there, you might want to check out the
There are
Airborne
none.
movie
There are
experience.
none. There
Silence.
are none.
Silence, or you
Nobody
shall be
likes
muted.
that movie.
Airborne
Silence.
movie experience.
Check out the Airborne movie experience this summer, August of 2023, 30th anniversary event. Cast and crew will be there. You don't want to miss it. You're going to get to skate with the Preps. You're going to get to hang out over a basket of fries. It's got everything
Buy
you're
a
going to want.
table as the anti-airborne table and just set up where I can hand out like buttons of like I hate this movie, like just for
You
fun.
can hang out with
That's a great
Snake,
idea.
dude.
Ian's fresh in from protesting abortions.
Oh God!
So I see another pitch in the live chat. This pitch comes from Kyle. Says the president is in a coma and someone switches faces with him. Guy who took the face is supposed to be a good guy, but he's nuts and he's going to start World War III. Sort of Dave meets Face Off, which I'm kind of cool with.
Yeah.
That's sort of interesting, especially if we can get Kevin Kline in there. And where is Kevin Kline,
So-
by the way?
So who switches
Yeah, I
faces
don't
with who switches faces with Donald Trump? Sorry.
Way to suck the fun out of the air. That's worse than my abortion joke. Good Lord.
All right, I do have a pitch. Though. I really
All
do.
right.
I thought about this. Okay.
Says the
Taking
man that doesn't like the movie.
That's right. Okay, but this one is like only for me. We probably won't go off on this one, but I think it'd be very interesting from a studio standpoint. Like some of the concept of Face Off has always been kind of ridiculous, you know. Like again, how do they not switch voices? Are they the same size? Blah, 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 right? I love the team up of The Rock and Kevin Hart, and I'm telling you,
Oh my god.
there could be a really.
That's so horrible.
I'm just saying you could get.
This is one of your go-tos, by the way. The Rock and Kevin Hart.
Kevin
You pulled this
Hart.
out. You pulled this out a
Right.
few times
It
before.
Well,
works. I'm
Right.
telling you, it would work because it and the way you make it
It's
work
not
is
believable.
that's why it works, Mickey. You don't acknowledge the ridiculousness of it, just like they did in the first movie. and it's hilarious.
But it wasn't a comedy.
But that's why it's great. You still have good action.
It's the twins. It's the Ivan Reitman approach. It's Danny DeVito and Arnold.
Yes,
you know.
Yes, that is exactly it. So don't tell me it won't work, you bastard. Like, it'll work plenty, Mickey.
I actually think it could be interesting if they did someone like that and they got like the faces right, but not the bodies or something. You know,
that's what I'm saying. That's hilarious. Like, it's hilarious. Like, actually, though, here's what would be funny. All right. I just watched The Irishman. All right. All 40 hours of it. All right. Dude, use that, deep fake stuff, right? Take Kevin Hart's face and The Rock and actually swap them on each other's body. That movie will be
there's also
hilarious.
There's also a color difference too.
To be fair, too, we're not that far off from AI just making movies based on what we tell it to do. So, like,
so true.
If that's the case, then like I want Like Father Like Son, but directed by John Woo, and then we'll just merge Face Off with Like Father Like Son. I want to see Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron shoot it out.
Yeah,
Man,
with a dove flying in the desert as they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
I will say, okay, so
with the kick-ass Motley Crue soundtrack to it.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, who is our action star today? Like who like honestly, who is our action star in theaters right now?
We don't have one in theaters right now. I mean, The Rock, I guess.
I think we do.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say Tom. I was
Tom Cruise, Vin Diesel, maybe Vin Diesel in some aspects.
If you got Tom Cruise and get another kind of A-lister actor like Ryan Reynolds, or I don't know who's another kind of higher up there kind of guy.
It'd be like Tom Cruise.
I mean, there's some
Hugh Jackman. I mean, like, you could really do, like, if Paramount redid Face Off, but got Tom Cruise and really kind of same story, but do it a little.
Maybe Tom Cruise, Liam Neeson.
I mean, if you wanted to do it for the ladies, do Henry Cavill and Hugh Jackman.
I was gonna say Tom Cruise and Robert Downey Jr. That one would be kind of cool.
This guy always pulls out Robert Downey Jr. too.
You can always pull out Robert Downey Jr. I will also tell you another comedy version of this that could work is Will Ferrell and Step Brothers guys.
John C. Reilly.
If you did a funny version of Face Off,
I think if you did a funny version of this back in the day, it would have been amazing.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, there you go. That's not bad. Because I love Keanu that much that it
would be counteracts
the Tom Cruise.
Well, I thought, like, as far as watch this movie, whatever case may be, I would still love a little bit of the old. So for me, I think John Travolta is now the head of the CIA, the FBI, whatever the case may be, and there's a crazy madman on the loose. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to pick that guy, but he goes to his top guy and says, "Listen, I've done this before. This could work again. We're gonna swap your faces." And so he now it's a little bit, obviously with technology, everything else like that, it's way different and everything else like that. And they can do something different technologically wise, but have him be the head of the government, or the FBI, whatever case it be, and then he gets
head of the
somebody.
Government.
Yeah, exactly. and gets somebody. I mean, like, you could get you can get like a newer guy. Maybe you can get trying to think of a younger actor that could probably could be him. I mean, I don't want to say Pattinson because I don't like Pattinson, but he could fall into that.
Timothy Chalamet then. You want to go like someone like that.
Yeah, or you can go basically. You could also go
Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, well, he needs a job, so whatever. But Tom Holland could definitely be one.
Oh, you know that.
He could.
Tom Holland is great.
He could
Holland
definitely
would
be
be
the FBI guy, and then the crazy guy could be. I'm trying to think of a younger actor that could maybe a Zac Efron.
It's interesting. There's a thing in the live chat. Alex Bonafonte says pitches a shot-for-shot remake starring Zac Efron and Paul Giamatti, which actually kind of got me thinking. Like, it would be really funny to take two actors that are a little bit older, that are both like extreme opposites. Like Pierce Brosnan and Paul Giamatti. One's like the most handsome guy ever, and the other one's like not really. So
that would be funny.
Or
actually, Paul Giamatti. But I don't think Paul Giamatti's that much of a chud.
I don't know if his acting chops could be up to snuff, but maybe like a Harry Styles could be the crazy dude.
That's a very younger version.
And he's a younger, so Tom Holland and Harry Styles.
I could see that.
It's like the ABC Family version.
Yeah. What's that?
It's like the
tween version. Make the other person a girl if it was Harry Styles.
So you'd have to expand this into like a Marvel type of face-off movie.
But whatever.
I've got it. I think it just came to me, right? It just did.
Or Mark Wahlberg.
So, Dolly Parton and Elvira face off 2. Boom.
There you go.
Just saying, it would be amazing.
There you go. You can have Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland.
But they just
it's not half bad.
I mean, it might be like too old, but so you have to put somebody in the Mark Wahlberg kind of spot,
Mark Wahlberg and Donnie Wahlberg switched faces.
Mark Wahlberg and John Cena.
Dude.
John Cena.
Travolta
John Cena would be kind of an interest. I mean, like it's funny because it's like.
But either way, I mean, like we can name actors or whatever like that. But I think that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a good premise to start off with Travolta being the new head of the CIA or something.
Well, how about what about the Oh, sorry, Ian. What were you saying?
Well, I was just gonna say the two ways you really face off should have either gone is either you remake it or
they are remaking it. They are remaking it.
Oh, are they? Well, I was just gonna say, or you do the 2B original version of Face Off 2, where we actually do get Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme switching faces, or we do get Face Off 3, Face Off harder. I don't know,
dude. I just got it too. Fucking perfect. Face Off 2, Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke. Boom. Reuniting from fucking Pope of Greenwich Village. Two of the best fucking actors alive today.
You can't touch Mickey Rourke's face; that thing will fall apart.
I don't know, man. It looks pretty tough and leathery to me. I think if you can cut through it, if you ever find a knife that cuts through that skin, I think it might be possible.
Jake Gyllenhaal could be a good crazy guy too.
But it's interesting. I thought that we pitched something like this for Home Alone. And I thought it was really good. And I thought a similar technique might work in this. And that, it would be interesting to somehow force them, and it almost makes no goddamn sense, but force them to switch again. And they have to buddy cop in each other's skin, switched, because for whatever reason, they need Sean Archer. They need Sean Archer's face, but Castor Troy's mind, or they need Castor Troy's face with Sean Archer's mind in whatever infiltration thing, and they have to work together. That
actually would be
type of
that
thing.
Could be like a new Demolition Man, where they still have they froze Castor Troy. It's like so they still have his brain.
Yeah, and it could be that there's a rogue nation of face swapping. There's a rogue, faction inside the government that no one knows what the fuck's going on because they're just swapping faces all the fucking time.
Well, now it'd be more robotic. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and now you can heal in hours instead of days. Now
AI.
It's so much fast, and the voice thing. There's
you clone.
Yeah, you can have a backup AI in your contacts. There's all kinds of extra details.
Yeah,
to,
maybe
make
that's
you more convincing.
Maybe Travolta. I mean, if you wanted to go newer, you do that kind of concept. Maybe Travolta is the head of the new CIA, FBI, whatever you want to call it, and he, comes up with this plan, the government, And he comes up with this plan that, he's like, the face thing. And they're like, they make a joke like, what is this, 97? We don't have to do that. We'll just clone them, and then, they can do that.
Yeah. Or it could be, clone faces, the clone things,
Yeah.
you could,
the Clone
you could
Wars.
dark man it, you could even have it so that like they have these new kinds of face things, but they don't last as long. So like after a day, they're like fucking falling off or some shit.
I do.
Or
like
like instead of like getting
like
punched in the throat, if they get punched in the face really hard or something like that, or
their face comes off.
Yeah, there's a certain part of the head they can hit, and it's like
I wouldn't mind some Hellraiser fight scenes between two guys, both with like their faces skinned off, beating the shit out of each other. Like
that
you
would
can
be
totally
pretty
do that.
cool.
You can totally do that. But I think the concept,
especially if they're in karate
is still
gis.
good.
Oh, boner.
Oh yeah.
If they're in karate gis, they would just be amazing. It would be perfect.
Well, I thought of Miguel as one of the face-off characters.
Oh, going with the young Cobra Kai stars.
Yeah.
Oh man, Jolo, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of Cobra Kai fans in the chat.
That would be kind of
a lot of love, I think, for the Tom and Keanu thing, and some jokes. Tom Cruise versus Ben Stiller's Tom Cruise, CROOZ. Some requests to swap Al Pacino for Shane Black and Predator, which is fucking wonderful, and I want to see that actually.
Big as a house. Big as a house.
Yeah, big as a fucking house, man.
Why was your Al Pacino Scarface Al Pacino? Like,
why would it not be? What else would you do, man? Like,
you could do Carlito's way Al Pacino and still kind of the same.
Still in that, I'm
Michael
Italian in the
Corleone.
streets, but Hispanic at the disco kind of thing. Pacino was
do
doing
like
with Brian De
The
Palma.
Godfather 1, Michael Corleone. It's as big as a house, guys. It's as big as a house. Kate, it's as big as a house. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, then by Godfather 2 and 3, it's like, it's big as a house, I tell you.
Yeah. It's as big as a house.
And you got your head all the way up here.
That's Devil's Advocate Pacino.
This is how The Irishman actually came about. They actually did want to do Face Off with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. For the sake of comedy, it would have been interesting too at one point, just shits and gigs, throwing jokes on top while he was still alive, may he rest in peace. But the great Patrick Swayze, because they were like the two hunkiest dudes, Travolta and Swayze, like kind of dance off, like Step Up 2, Face Off 3, where they have to swap faces and dance their hearts away.
You throw in Channing Tatum in there, or whatever.
There you go. No, Channing Tatum and Gilbert Gottfried. That would have been the face-off.
Dude, no, Gilbert Gottfried, like anyone, it would have been amazing. It would have been amazing. Like Gilbert Gottfried.
The Rock and Gilbert Gottfried.
If you were doing a comedy version of Face Off, I would want Vince Vaughn to be one of the guys.
Oh, Vince Vaughn, Gilbert Gottfried, boom, sold.
Vince Vaughn, actually, like, I do kind of miss comedy Vince Vaughn. I really do, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
I do, yeah.
Him and Ben Stiller.
But he could be the crazy guy, too, because, he's good at being crazy, too.
Ben Stiller in jail.
Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn.
I need a light.
Yeah, the villain. Ben Stiller is the hero. I like that.
I need a light. Give me a light.
Although it works either way, so yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of those, like, Jason Bateman type actors that you can kind of plug in and sort of probably get some decent results with. But yeah.
Ozark Face Off edition.
I'm not such a fan of Jason Bateman these days, but
if it was Bateman and Robert Downey Jr.,
I like old school Bateman. I like old school Bateman.
Communists.
We
all like Teen Wolf too.
Oh no! Wait a minute. What he's saying is he likes like the Hogan family Bateman.
Yeah, I like old Bateman. I like Teen Wolf 2 Bateman.
That's prime time.
I'm not I'm not about this Ozark Bateman and the other comedy that he was in that I never watched.
You're just a poet today, sir. I love almost everything you've said all episode long. Also, shout out to, I see Scotty be in the live chat, says the Dolly Parton and Elvira tagline, the breast action movie of the year. So what a fantastic.
Two boobs up.
What a way to wrap it up.
Jeez.
But before we close out, is there anything you guys have got coming up in the works? What's going down at Retro Fiend Radio these days, Dustin?
We're just releasing. I think we just did Don Perry produced the music. He talks about working with like Gary Coleman and
yes.
Stevie Wonder.
The world don't move to the beat.
Yeah,
just
a bunch of people do. Yeah. It's interesting. So anybody interested in how that stuff works, come on over, check us out.
Oh man, I'm so stoked. I love it. I love the Don Perry stuff. Mickey, Ian, anything going on with you guys? Articles, recordings, same old
for me, right?
Well, yeah, just last week we posted a B-movie challenge for the great movie called Mob Queen, starring David Provel. So a movie that mixes the idea of The Sopranos with The Crying Game. You take it from there. But also, stay tuned for... it's great. It's actually really good movie, unlike this one. But I'm also going to hopefully have an article out soon. I'm telling you, it's genius. But on a great action movie, which I would actually counter you, Mickey, as another great setup for an action movie. A classic called Space Truckers, starring Dennis Hopper. So
I know Space Truckers well.
That's good.
Great movie.
Don't fucking discredit. Don't throw shade at Steven Dorff. Put some respect on his name. Steven Dorff and Dennis Hopper.
That article, my article is praising that movie.
Absolutely. So, well, you're redeemed then. You're redeemed. Also, just want to mention to everyone in VCR land, a longtime friend of the show, Melanie Mullen, is launching her own podcast very soon, or maybe it's already launched.
Yeah.
The name of which escapes from me right now, so I'm a terrible fucking friend. But definitely follow her on Facebook, Instagram, all those places. And she will be posting about that. I can't wait to see it, and we're all going to try and weasel our way into guest spots on her show. So definitely want to stay tuned for that one. At any rate, in the meantime, you fan fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we play Patty Cake for our Roger Rabbit episode. As always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlite, the Howell and I Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.